Hi, I'm CJ Elmberg at Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Fredrick, Colorado. We've got a brand new Cimarron 3-horse bumper pull sitting behind us here. This is a 2026 Cimarron Norstar. Again, 3-horse bumper pull. We're going to walk you through this. This thing's got some very nice options. If you're looking for a nice runaround trailer, this is a great one. If you're looking to upgrade maybe from a 2 to a 3, something along those lines, this is a great setup. Let's go ahead and take a look at the drawing before I start walking you through the trailer. Like I mentioned, 3-horse at the front tack room. It is just over, a little over 18 foot on the floor. It's 18.9 on the floor, and that's from the nose to the back. When you add the tongue in there, it adds another 3 foot. Width on this guy is standard 6'10 wide, standard height 7'1. So let's walk you through this trailer. It comes in about 4,100 pounds empty, so that gives you a good idea on what it weighs. So a lot of these new half tons SUVs can definitely handle this trailer. But again, when we look at that floor length that I gave you, that's from the nose right here back, and then you have the tongue that adds a few more feet to it. But I do like that this tongue is extended a little bit versus some other competitors out there, because not to say you can't ever crank this and get yourself in a bad situation, but when it extends it, it allows you to a little bit more flexibility as far as that's concerned. 2 5/16 coupler on this one. Obviously, with it being a bumper pull, depending on your tow vehicle, you might look at it and say, okay, well, what do I need? Do I need a 2-inch drop? Do I need a 4-inch drop? If you need to, when you come here to the lot, pick this trailer up, we'll set it down, we'll look at it and say, okay, let's put it on a 4-inch drop, or let's put it on a 2, or we've got some adjustables through our parts department. But that way we can set it up correctly for you to run nice and level. Hand crank jack on this guy, and then the diamond plate, tread bright, you know, going to protect from rocks. They've even got it there on the actual tongue itself. This one has the polished nose on it. And then you're also going to notice that this one is that charcoal metallic. So that charcoal metallic has probably been the most popular color option besides white over the last couple years. It's great because, look, in direct sunlight, it's going to look more charcoal. You know, maybe like a real dark gray, and then when you get it in some shadows or something along those lines, it'll darken it up a little bit. But I love the fact it matches a lot of the color schemes in today's trucks, but also when dirt kind of, you know, when it kind of rains or dirt kind of blows on it and kind of collect on it, the black trailers, you really notice that dirt on this. This is going to hide that quite a bit. And when you do get it in that direct sunlight, you're going to see some of those metallic flakes on it. But a really popular option there. Okay, this front tack room. I want you to notice this tack door is on the side of the trailer and not on the side of the nose. So a lot of times, some trailers are built that way, especially some of the competition, so it makes that front tack room really small, because what they're doing is they're putting that door on the side so they can shift that partition wall forward. So it really makes for a little bit of a cramped front tack room. But when this one gets shifted to the side, it really opens up that tack room, making it really user friendly. This one here, this tack door is a 42-inch wide door. So I'll show you why that is here in a minute, but you notice the brush tray on the door. So that's a great catch-all for smaller miscellaneous items. If you want to add more brush trays, you can. If you want to put a door organizer on this, you can. Again, our parts and service department can help you out quite a bit on those type of items. Window in the door, so you can get some air movement in there when you're throwing your saddles, your blankets, your pads, anything like that. You get that sweat smell in there. That window right there will help, you know, air the tack room out itself. Fold up step. Now, this is on a gas shock, but on the all of our inventory, we really try to put emphasis on putting fold up steps at all of our tack doors. Just making the transition so much easier getting in and out of these trailers. You know, if you look where I'm standing, where the bottom of this door frame is, that's a pretty healthy step. Now, granted, I'm going to show you the swing out saddle rack here in a minute, so all that tack and everything can come out here and is accessible, but at times you're still carrying items in and out, and who wants to make that big step? So in this instance here, you've got the fold up step, making it really easy. Now, this swing out saddle rack is in right now, and as you can see, I have plenty of room getting in and out of this tack room. So when this guy goes to swing out, this is where the 42-inch wide door opening comes into play. Imagine saddles, big saddles on these, you know, saddle rack pads themselves. A lot of competition does a 36-inch wide door. Well, that's 6 inches narrower. So now if we move that door frame in, we have the potential to drag our saddles against that door frame going in and out, to where now we have that clearance. The other thing is when this is swung out, obviously I could step in when it was in, but I can still go in and out of this tack room with this in the out position. Now, if this door was narrower, it'd be a really tight squeeze. You know, maybe could be done, but boy, this gives you a lot more, you know, elbow room getting in and out. So on this swing out saddle rack, you've got 3 saddle rack pads on this, carpeted, and then we've got 2 blanket pole racks. These are all adjustable. So I can slide these up and down. I can change sequencing if I want. I can remove blanket poles if I want, put another saddle rack on there. You have the flexibility. Basically, you just loosen these nuts, slide them where you want and tighten them up. And then if you want to remove them, you can slide them out of the top themselves. But this post that they're on this swing out is the same post they use for their removable saddle posts, and then also they're recessed if it was built into the wall. So it's all the same tube, it's all the same mechanism. They just cut it to fit what it's, you know, being used for. In this instance, a swing out. But again, now we can access everything right there out at ground level and not have to crawl into the tack room necessarily. When you come in, you're gonna have rubber on the floor, so really easy cleanup. You know, we are not fans of carpet on the floor because, believe me, they will stain, they will hold that odor, you'll never get them out, and it'll never look the same. So the rubber has a lot more flexibility as far as that's concerned, and will clean up over time. On the partition wall, you're gonna have a row of bridle hooks. These are aluminum powder coated, so these guys are really stout. Great spacing between them, great height and depth off the wall. The carpet behind it is gonna make sure it protects not only the wall, but also your tack. So if you're hanging up, you know, like a bit and it's rubbing against there, well, then we have metal to metal, and that's never a good thing. We also get, you know, that quarter kind of moon movement as you're driving when tack is moving against those aluminum walls, and it scuffs that up. To where now in this instance that won't happen. It'll also dead the noise from that happening by having that for your horses on the other side. Tucked behind that rear corner there is going to be a corner water tank. That's a 25-gallon. It's just gravity feed. You fill at the top. You have a hose down there. Get yourself a ball valve. Put it on that lower valve there. You can fill buckets up right here at the trailer. So if you're traveling during summer months, you're waiting in line somewhere to check in, hydrants, who knows where, and it's a long ways away, and I don't want to pack those buckets, or I got a horse that only likes water from home, it's nice to have this guy. We've put so many of these on, and so much of our inventory just has it now. That's just kind of a standard option for our inventory because so many people enjoy it. It's nice to have, and it usually occupies a space that usually is wasted. You can't really do a whole lot in that. A lot of other instances, like on the goosenecks, the swing out saddle rack actually butts up against it. You know, in this position here, and the saddle racks go this way. So in that instance, what are you gonna do back there? The light switch is actually located just above the tank right there as you come into the door for that OptiBright LED light directly above the door, you know, shooting towards the rest of the tack room, giving you a lot of light coverage. Those OptiBrights, I'll show you more when we get to the stall area, but they are fantastic. A couple other things, you've got a clothes rod in here so you can hang clothes up from the ceiling. That way they're not occupying space in the back of your tow vehicle. Maybe you're showing off the trailer and you need to come hop into a show shirt. You've got them right here. Spare tires located back behind us, and there is quite a bit of floor space in here. So if you need to bring in some totes or some other items to store in here, you've got a lot of room. Again, because this tack door is on the side of the trailer and not necessarily on the nose itself. I'll go ahead and shut this tack door so then you can also see there's that fold-up step with the gas shock, and then that charcoal metallic sheeting. Again, just a really cool color that they've come up with. On the top rail, you're gonna get a 16-inch awning light. So it's gonna shoot down and out. It's not one of those pedestal lights that protrudes, you know, up and off the trailer where maybe a tree branch can knock it off and then you're dealing with that. Again, having light coverage like in that tack room, I'll show you more of these lights throughout the whole video when we walk through this trailer. but it is nice. It's kind of about center of this box here, so you're going to get really good coverage wherever you have horses tied or working off of that tack room itself. Now, directly below that, you're going to notice this guy here, we opted for drop down windows rather than the bus windows. Now, there are bus windows within the actual feed door itself that's dropped down here on tail side. So if I need to shut that up a little bit, maybe not, you know, get as much air movement, I can still shut those up and slide those. But if you live down south, especially in the hot, humid states, this is such a popular setup. We get so many calls, and we can usually tell, hey, boy, I need something with drops on the tail side because it's just too hot and humid down here. I need as much airflow as I can. This is a great setup for that. Even here in Colorado, I mean, we get, you know, we'll push 100-degree days. You know, traffic, you need to get that air movement in there. It's nice to have that flexibility, but then I can still shut them up if I need to, and then just utilize the bus window option there. You got tie rings out here in between each of those. On axles, we have two 5,200-pound Dexter rubber torsion axles. Electric brakes, so your tow vehicle will have to have an integrated brake controller, or we can help you out with an aftermarket if you need to. And then on this one here, we went for the black with kind of a silver accent aluminum wheels on this guy. These are 16 inchers, Goodyear 10-ply tires. But I really feel like these wheels, you know, really tie in well with the color of the trailer and then the extrusion. Again, it just ties everything together. Now, with these tires, you're gonna have a 1-year no questions asked warranty on them. So if you get road debris, you have a blowout, if you catch a nail that punctures the sidewall of a tire, it's not, you know, it can't be patched. You can send in information and you will get these tires warranted, no questions asked, from 1 year. Now, that's the date you purchase them. You're not going through Cimarron, you're going through Lion's Head, who's their vendor for wheels and tires, and we can help you out with that process there if you'd like, and need some assistance there. This is a bolt-on fender as well. Pay attention to that, because this is not a weld-on, where a lot of other competition will have a weld-on. If something does get tore up here, or if you ding one of these guys and want it replaced, it's not as time-consuming as a weld-on, because you have to cut those off, put the new one on, re-weld it. You know, again, a lot simpler process getting it on and off. So speaking of warranties, you're gonna have 8-year structure warranty and a 3-year hardware warranty through Cimarron on the trailer itself. At the back here, since it's the standard width, 6'10" wide, you're gonna get a 60/40 door setup. Right-hand door is a little bit bigger than the left-hand door. These are independent, so you can open or close either one of them in any sequence, doesn't matter. The right-hand door is gonna have a window in the back as well. So again, you can create a little bit more airflow by opening that up, creating that vacuum, sucking out the back of the trailer as far as air movements going through. Now, if you want a rear ramp, if your horse prefers it, you want to use this for other items, maybe haul some toys, you know, make it a multi-purpose trailer, we can remove that rubber bumper and then go ahead and put a ramp over. Now, typically we have white ramps available in our standard widths, you know, the 6'10" wide, the 7'6", the 8 wide. So we might have to order that in, so we might need a couple extra weeks just to order that in to be a color match for you. But those items can be added after the fact. Maybe you want a hay rack, maybe you want to upgrade to an electric jack or electric over hydraulic jack. We can do those type of items to these trailers. Even though it's still sitting here, our parts and service department allows us to be able to, you know, really customize a trailer for you, even though it's on the ground, you know, and finished here at the lot. Now, going into the stall area, you have a butt strap that goes across, snaps in. Because of the larger opening, we don't want an actual tube, you know, going across there. These are solid dividers with pads. And pay attention to this back one. This back one here is a solid divider. It does not telescope. We put a little bit of extra length in this back stall so we can actually go ahead and open this guy up and put it against the wall and shut the back doors. If it wasn't the case, this would have to be a telescoping, or to shut the back doors, this divider would stop about right here and you have wasted space in the stall area. So again, maybe it's a multi-purpose trailer. Maybe you just need to, you know, haul some air and foals. Maybe you need to hop a, you know, ATV or something like that in here, lawnmower, get that stuff out of the way, haul furniture. I don't know how many times we've heard customers say, yeah, this thing hauls horses and furniture. We've moved all over the place in this trailer multiple times. And then the front divider is going to be a stud divider, so it goes down to the floor. So it's nice because maybe you want to utilize this first stall for storage, maybe some hay, some bedding, other items. You can throw that in there and don't necessarily have to worry about it shifting and getting underneath the horses while you're traveling because of the stud divider. Or maybe you just need to separate somebody. You know, you've got that flexibility there, but it's nice to have the pads on there. And then I want you to notice that everything is one-handed operation. So I can lead a horse, have their lead rope in my hand, and then this guy swings out of the way. These stud dividers here recently, they made stud dividers have standard 2 springs. So there's one at the top and one at the bottom. So this trailer's tipped towards passenger side, but the weight of these stud dividers, one spring really couldn't do it. It always wanted to kind of hang off the wall a little bit. But if we level it, these will, you know, shift towards the driver's side even more. We were putting 2 springs on our stud dividers, and then again, they recently made it a standard option. But it's nice to have them out of the way so I can lead a horse in, tie them up, and again, don't have to worry about holding it. And then they slam into a recessed paddle latch. This is a cast piece that's powder coated, and then a heavy UHMW plastic paddle so we don't get metal to metal contact and rattle, you know, creating a lot of noise in here. But again, really easy to operate, open and close. And then again, you get a good look at, you know, these drop downs on tail side, so you get so much airflow in here. I'll show you the ones when we get to the outside over here on driver's side. There's those OptiBrite lights. There's 2 of those guys in here. Again, we were putting those on our inventory just basically if they were available. I know there's a time it was kind of hard to get some items, but we were always putting these as an upgrade on our inventory, and then they recently made them standard as well. It's not a big power draw, but boy, they are nice. They put out a ton of light. And then the switches are at the back. I'll show you when we actually shut the doors themselves. So more airflow. We have 3 two-way roof vents. So we can manipulate airflow there, open them to force air in, to release air out. But on top of that, you're going to get an insulated roof. That's standard on all these Cimarrons. You might have noticed some in the background, some big LQs, some other using trailers. They all have this same roof. So that insulated roof keeps this stall area 20% cooler than an aluminum sheeted roof. So that makes a massive difference, especially in these hot, you know, summer months out here on this asphalt. We love taking customers and showing them one branded trailer with an aluminum sheeted roof where it's all sealed up, walking them over to a Cimarron, having them step in there. You physically tell a difference in the heat. So we're just trying to keep, you know, everybody nice and comfortable as we're traveling. That makes a massive difference. The other thing is it's really strong and durable. It'll take 150 pounds per square foot, so it'll take substantial hail. You know, we see hail this time of the year, and, you know, a lot of times, you know, we've got other brands that kind of migrate underneath our hail canopies here. A lot of Cimarrons stay out because they can handle it a lot better than some other manufacturers as far as that's concerned. It's a honeycomb design, so it's reinforced. It also has an R3 thermal value and a gel coating up there. So again, fantastic, just standard, where a lot of competition, that would be a massive upgrade, and still probably even have the aluminum sheeted roof when they go to, you know, line and insulate the inside of it to keep the stall area cooler. You still have that, you know, real high potential of hail damage on the roof itself. Kick mats all the way around, so you have it on the partition wall, tail side, you know, head side. You probably noticed it on the back doors as well when we had those open. And then we have rubber mats on the floor. Below that is the industry's best aluminum floor. It is a 12-inch extruded deck piece that locks in high and low, so 2 points of contact like tongue and groove. But the important thing is it's 4-inch centers. And each one of those 12-inch decks has a V-truss in it, adding even more strength to it. But why that's important is when you have a horse standing on an aluminum floor, when centers get spread apart, you have the potential of getting those pits or those waves, and that's where urine can collect and start to corrode, and it's just not as high quality of a floor. When you ever have a horse standing on a Cimarron floor, they're either standing on 1, if not 2 support beams, you know, based on their hoof size, all over this floor. So it's a really, really strong floor. It's still an all aluminum trailer, so you still need to care for it. You know, pulling these mats out at least once a year, maybe even more depending on usage. You know, power washing it out, assessing the floor, making sure everything looks good. The little trick is let it dry. At that point, take baking soda, sprinkle it out, then put your mats back in. It'll counteract the acidity of the urine itself. And the other thing is you got D-rings in all these stalls, so you do have the capability to, we can add some corner feeders if you'd like. It's already set up for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut up these back doors. I'll show you. Over here on the left-hand post is gonna be those light switches. So again, I showed you the one on passenger side. I showed you the interiors. There's a load light up here at the top, an 8-inch load light. And then there's gonna be another one on driver's side. So all those are on individual switches. As you can see in the back marker lights, there's a white X in there. That is a built-in backup light itself in these back marker lights, these tail lights themselves. So when you throw your tow vehicle in reverse, that guy's gonna light up. I want you to pay attention to those welded hinges on these back doors. I'm gonna show you more when we get to this driver's side. But these doors have such massive framework in them, and they're so strong that a lot of times, you know, the manufacturer's little trick was, you know, hey, this door's off a little bit. Well, let's open it up. Let's get a floor jack underneath it. It'll kind of tweak it a little bit, and it'll kind of reset. Well, Cimarron opened up a door and they put a floor jack underneath the 3-horse gooseneck, and they picked the back of the trailer up. Didn't do a thing to anything because of how stout and sturdy these welded hinges are. But there's more components to them that I'll show you here in a second as far as these hinges are concerned. Over here on driver's side, up in the top rail, there again is a 16-inch awning light. So again, you've got lights on all sides of this trailer, you know, that you're working off of, the rear and each side, and then all those interiors. And then here's a good look at those drop-down feed windows I was telling you about. Over here on driver's side, they're gonna have the jail bars. So these guys here can easily fold down. If you need to offer some more feed, you know, maybe throw some hay into those corner feeders that you saw on there. You know, again, really easy to operate up and down. And then massive framework on these drop-down feed windows as well. On those hinges, not only are they welded, but they've got grease zerks on them so you can maintain them. If you notice a hinge starts getting a little stiff, starts making a lot of noise, squawking at you like a goose, you can put grease to it. You see this brass ring right here in the middle. Well, it's connected to a rod that goes the full length of this, and it's got a groove cut into it. So picture a candy cane. So once you put grease to it and you start open and close this, it's wanting to feed that grease throughout the entire hinge, where a lot of competition might do a welded hinge, but you have to heat it up. It's really hard to get it to take actual lubricant in there. The vertical ones, I've noticed guys will drill holes into it trying to get, you know, lubricant fed into them. So a little bit difficult, not on the Cimarrons. You've got the capability to maintain them. There's an escape door here, but I wanted to show you this one here also has a drop down window on this first stall. It's a little bit smaller because we have to work within the framework of the door itself, but we'll pretend that it opens. It's locked right now. Thought we got everything unlocked. But in this, you can access that front stall. So if you have that stud divider, again, you have hay, bedding, those type of items, you get somewhere, you need to unload that really quickly. Maybe go get a stall ready for your horses before you even unload them. You can hop into this front access door and get into that first stall if you need to. And there's also a chest bar that goes across there. So again, really well equipped 3-horse bumper pull. This thing's got a lot of extras on it too, but we can also customize it again if you want some extra add-ons on the trailer itself. So I'm going to give you the stock number for reference. Again, it's a 2026 Cimarron Norstar 3-horse bumper pull. Stock number's 5N250412. So we do take trade-ins. So if you're looking to upgrade or downsize, we can help you there. Financing is available and delivery is an option, so we could potentially bring this to your doorstep. So give us a call. Anybody on the sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. We appreciate you tuning in and have a good day.